Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable. CNBC-TV18 Marquee Nights.
In this Mumbai edition of CNBC-TV18's Marquee Nights, your host Anuradha Sengupta is in conversation with Yannick Bolloré, the chairman of Vivendi and chairman and CEO of the Havas Group. Get ready for insights on how one of the world's largest global communications groups is looking to make a meaningful difference to brands, businesses and people. Catch him unplugged as he shares his thoughts on media, Metaverse and Musk.
So Yannick, it's a privilege. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, and thank you to everyone for attending this event tonight.
Okay, please, can you say that in French? Because anything you say in French sounds wonderful.
Merci beaucoup d'être ici ce soir à toutes et à tous. That was an easy question, thank you.
I think you can do all your answers in French and no one will mind, no one will care about what I ask and what you say. You just keep talking in French and we are okay, we're good, we're done. Your expectations of the Indian market, especially in the current context, would be very high. Is that fair to say? In terms of the growth that you expect from here?
You know, in terms of growth, even if it's slightly slowing down, it's still a plus 15%, something like that. When you compare to what we see in the rest of the world, like Europe, you know, in Europe, when we have a plus 2%, maybe a plus 3%, it's a record year. So, I mean, in terms of growth, India is no comparison with the rest of the Western world. So, I still have huge expectations. I think we will continue to invest in India. Now we are 1,200 people. We are finalizing an acquisition that will make us being a group of 1,500 people, I would say, before spring. And I believe, I mean, in 5 years from now, we can be 5, maybe 10,000. I mean, the growth here in India, the opportunities are immense, whether it is on the Indian market itself, but also in terms of India as a hub for the entire region.
Yeah. You have business, of course, of us has interests in China. Yeah. And we saw how the pandemic has upended the way the world sees China and the global supply chains and, you know, how they're designed. And there's a lot of work and changes happening there. So do you think there's an opportunity for India that's, you know, that's even bigger than what it always had because of its demographics and because of, you know, the government that we have and the kind of dynamism that the political leadership is providing?
It's a great question. No, of course, China has had, I would say, a different strategy to manage a pandemic. I would say a more closed one, if I may say, more protective one. So it has slowed down the growth. Honestly, I think it's a good opportunity for India because in terms of services, in terms of talents, India is very strong. In terms of manufacturing as well, could be a great opportunity for India. So no, I believe India is a land of huge opportunities for all the Indian population, but also for the world and for the business, global business like the one we are operating in.
I'll do a couple of questions on Havas because that is Vivendi's biggest interest in India. Yeah. And a lot of people here are familiar with Havas and the teams that work here. A few years ago at Havas, you created the Havas Village model, right? It seems quite intuitive what you did, which is that you took all these functions that media and advertising agencies provide, you put them under the same roof, and you fostered this very collaborative spirit. Now, how different is this from the existing or the traditional model before that? And what were the challenges in making this happen? What were the challenges that you had to encounter to create Havas Village?
Well, thank you for saying that it is very intuitive. We were the first to go down that path 8 years ago. I mean, the idea is, most of the time, you know, advertising agencies, communication groups, advertisers, they are very self-centric most of the time. So they think about their own organization and they expect clients or prospects to adapt to their organization, to their silos. I arrived in advertising. I didn't have any advertising background. I was a media guy. I was working in the media business. I was a TV producers and a TV programmers, movie producers, stuff like that. So when I arrived, my first reaction was to go and meet with the clients to try to do this kind of qualitative analysis. So you're working with us, what's working well, what's not working. I came to see some prospects because I had a lot of friends who are CEO not working with Havas. Why are you working with this agency? Why not with us? And the common thing that they were telling me is, the problem, the big pain point with advertising agencies is that you are too complex. You have silos, you have different agencies, you don't collaborate with one another. The media teams, they don't talk to the creative team, they don't talk to the event teams. So for us, we need to hire people just to manage advertising agencies or communication group. So I say, okay, let's go, let's create some villages. So I came back to Havas and I say, hey, look guys, I have a fantastic idea. So I'm the new CEO. Let's come together. And they all looked at me and they say, but we hate each other. No, the competition is not within the group, it's with outside. So we had to change the mindset of the people. We had to create this feeling of belonging to the same group, this feeling of camaraderie. It was a huge, there was two aspects of the job. One was around culture. Yeah. How can we create a culture for the group? And second was around real estate, because we moved everyone in every different cities we're operating in the same buildings or the same locations. But after 2-3 years, I can tell you that now the group operates as one. People feel that they belong to Havas. And one thing that is, very dear to my heart is every year we are doing an engagement survey, and encourage everyone here in the room or watching TV to do the same within your own company, within your company. So basically, you ask some questions, very simple questions to your teams, like, do you believe that your company has a bright future? Do you like your colleagues? Do you believe that you will be in the company in the next 2 years? Would you recommend this company to one friend to be working in? And we monitor this score, we call it the engagement score. And year after year, it's getting higher and higher.
And you do it every year?
Every year. And what's interesting is it's also a canary in the coal mine. When I see the engagement score lowering, decreasing in some agencies, I can tell you 6 months or even 1 year before that the result, the revenue and the profitability will decrease. It's because the clients are not happy, but they don't necessarily tell. You can feel. So, monitoring the engagement of your employees, it's key to any business in the world, any industry.
Are your competitors going to replicate this?
Maybe after they watch us on TV, yeah.
You like to live dangerously, don't you? Okay. Let's pull out from Havas now. The Vivendi Group, we're not so familiar with the other parts of the Vivendi Group here in India, but it's like I use the word, it is a colossus in the media landscape globally. Let's go look at a few of the verticals because I think they're interesting. And let's start with gaming. So Vivendi owns Gameloft. They have mobile games here in India as well. And very interestingly, Gameloft this year has bucked the trend that the industry is displaying in terms of the industry is actually shrinking and Gameloft has increased its revenues. So there's something very interesting, and they are actually mobile game pioneers, and there's a strategic business shift that they've done. Yannick, tell us more about it.
No, that's a very interesting industry, gaming. It has been growing year on year for the past 15, 20 years, maybe since ever. We saw a boom with casual gaming and hyper-casual gaming those past 5 years. And since during COVID, the numbers were skyrocketing. And for the past 4 to 5 quarters, we have seen a decrease in the industry. People are playing less, spending more money online on in-game purchase. And on the opposite, Gameloft, our mobile gaming company, is posting very, very strong results. I think for 2 reasons. Number one, they have been very smart to move from mobile games only to console games. Yeah. So now our games, because our games were high quality games, super high quality. we have been competing against hyper-casual game, very easy to make, to fabricate. And we thought, okay, our games are so good, why don't we try to put our games on console or Nintendo Switch or this kind of other platform? And we launched our games on those platforms. It has been a great success. The last one we did in partnership with Disney.
Came out in September, isn't it?
Yeah, again, yeah, exactly, called Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's working like super well. The numbers are over the roof. We are launching a new games with Disney in March. We are also benefiting from the fact that video platforms such as Netflix or Disney Plus or Apple are launching their vertical of video games. Yeah. And for those platforms, they need to have quality games. So they are asking companies such as Gameloft to produce games for them. So they are new clients. So we have, a conjunction of good elements. But what's interesting is that we discussed this strategy 3 years ago. It didn't come by surprise.
So it wasn't a reaction to the fact that, post-pandemic gaming, usage has gone down?
No, we decided before the pandemic, and by the way, we had no idea the pandemic would come, that we needed to go on the premium games and to try to move to console and find new clients such as Netflix or Nintendo or Microsoft. And today, the strategy is paying off heavily.
To take this forward is the Metaverse. The Metaverse, and everybody's making big bets on it, especially Meta, of course, and consultancies, business consultancies, isn't it? Because everybody wants to see this as a revenue potential going forward. What are your views on the Metaverse? And I'm segueing into Metaverse here because of gaming, and that's perhaps an industry that lends itself beautifully to the Metaverse, isn't it?
No, it depends. To answer your question, we need to first agree on the definition of the Metaverse, because there are two ways of seeing it. Yeah. I believe in platforms that will provide social interaction, such as a video game. If you say that we call Metaverse something that is an immersive experience with a helmet or...
With devices, with
headsets.
Devices,
the answer is, I would say, would be different. Because what I don't know, I'm sure social platform like Metaverse, traditional Metaverse such as video games, I don't know, Fortnite or the games we are producing at Gameloft, are already working. League of Legends, it's Metaverse because you can interact with people through your avatar. You can buy clothes, you can buy skins, you can buy whatever you want, you can exchange products. So I'm a huge believer on that. What I'm a little bit unsure of, and I should not tell that in front of Meta, is the immersive part, because when I've tried it several times.
The Oculus headset.
Yeah. Maybe the next helmet will be much better, but it will be a barrier, I would say, to go for people to spend 10 hours a day or even 5 hours a day with the helmet. So that's the only difference. So social platforms, interaction that in which you will buy product like your car. We have someone from Tata. I'm sure you would be ready to pay for the last electric vehicle Tata because you think it looks good to show to your friend. If it's immersive, that's another question. But I believe in social interaction where people will pay. And by the way, we've been conducting some reviews, and it's interesting. Some people are spending more money to dress up their avatar than themselves. No, but it's a real market, huh? Trust me.
CNBC-TV18 Marquee Nights.
So let's look at Canal Plus. In this context today, this evening, let's talk about it purely from the streaming service, because that's a priority for Vivendi, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Canal Plus operates as a traditional TV business, operated as a traditional TV business. And with the emergence of OTT platform, it has completely changed the way people were consuming products. Because before, in the past, you wanted to watch the last Bollywood movie or the last episode of your favorite show, you had to go in front of the linear TV to wait for the starting time, watch some advertising in the middle of it, or sometimes multiple advertising. Today, it's completely different. It has changed 10 years ago. People want to be able to see their show or series or movies anytime, anywhere on the device they want. So we need to be able to digitalize all our platforms. This is something we have been doing. The problem we had with Canal Plus, it was not about the digitalization because it's quite easy. I mean, it's quite easy to build. Well, it's not easy, but the team have been doing a great job, let's say, in building the digital platform. It's even better for those who know the digital platform of Canal Plus. It's even better than the one of Netflix. I think it's one of the best in the world. Sorry for doing some advertising, but Canal Plus is a client. Canal Plus is a client of Havas, so I have to do some advertising. But the problem we had was that we were purely French, and we were competing against a global group that can produce content and air it on multiple countries and continents. So they have much more subscribers. So this is why the team of Canal Plus have decided 8 years ago to go global, to go overseas. And now almost 70% of our subscribers are outside France.
Our global subscribers.
Outside France, yeah.
Talking about streaming, we've seen in the past year a pivot made by Netflix, who you mentioned, I remember Reed Hastings at a Marquee Nights conversation said he wouldn't entertain ad-supported streaming on Netflix. And just earlier this month, Netflix has launched its ad-supported program in the USA and, of course, in Europe. What do you make of this? Because, when Netflix was successful and we saw all the subscriber additions during the pandemic, we were also quite excited about the fact that subscription revenues were beginning to pay for high-quality content. And today you are, in 2022, saying that, okay, subscription revenues are drying up and go back to good old advertising revenues. What's your view on where this is going to land?
I think the good thing is that it's much more affordable. And the Western world, especially in Europe and also in the US, but I know in the rest of the world as well, are unfortunately discovering what is inflation, because the cost of living, of energy consumption is growing much faster than the compensation. So people will have to make some savings. So I think timing-wise, it's a smart move, because some people that would have churned completely, I think maybe they will subscribe to this new model.
But do you think subscription revenues will come good again if the macroeconomic environment changes? Do you think okay, let me rephrase this question, Yannick. Are people willing to pay top dollar for high-quality content?
We did, during the lockdown, a survey about the relationship the consumers in the world, the people in the world, have with entertainment. And for 83% of the respondents, they were saying that for them, entertainment, I mean, global entertainment, TV, movies, reading, magazines, for 83% of them, it's a vital need. It's something that makes them feel good, that gets anxiety away, that develop their culture. So I believe they are really willing to pay. And when you consider the price of those platforms, it's not very expensive. When you compare the price of any platform to the price of going to a nice restaurant.
Yeah, or watching a movie in India, for that matter.
So, I think I don't think it's declining. I think it's going to be more complex for purely linear TV that are free and relying on advertising.
We're going to shift, an abrupt shift, but this is a story that has been consuming everybody who's interested in the media. Twitter. Elon Musk, real-time tweeting, is remaking Twitter in full public view. He's taken the company private for $44 billion, but he's doing everything in full public view. And he is saying that advertising revenues, which is Twitter's mainstay by far, is going to be a problem. So let's go for subscription revenue. So he's doing exactly the opposite of what Netflix is doing. Of course, they don't compare what Twitter offers and what Netflix does. But what do you make of this?
On Elon Musk himself, I remember when he launched, or when he acquired Tesla, all our clients on the traditional car manufacturers were telling me he will never succeed. His cars, their battery will burn. And when you see the results 10 years later, Tesla is the highest car manufacturer in market cap. And when Elon Musk announced that he will launch some rocket that will land back on Earth, everyone was laughing. And he did it. So that's why I wouldn't, bet against him.
Underestimate him
I
and
wouldn't
not
bet
patronize
against him.
him.
Yeah. Then on Twitter, what's complex for us is what to tell to our clients. It's not about what I think about the blue certification for $8 a month or something like that. It's a different subject. In terms of the advertising, we need to make sure, we need to be responsible. What we need to be making sure of is that our clients are investing in a safe environment. Because the last thing you want for a brand is to be part or in the middle of a hate speech or something like that. So I've been receiving emails, to be transparent with you, like maybe 3 emails a week for the past 4 weeks, explaining from the Twitter advertising team that nothing was changing.
The team is still there?
Yeah, that was my point. So they are sending emails saying everything is fine. Elon is a big fan of good environment and safe environment, but none of them are still working in the company. So I just received an email on the way down from my room upstairs that the French CEO has resigned. But I'm sure. So we'll see. So we'll be there. The question is just make sure that the environment is safe for brands. Otherwise, it will backlash against the brand, and they will.
So are you advising Havas's brands to pause?
Twitter. It's not like Meta. It's not like Google. Meta and Google are 2/3 of the digital investment. Twitter is even less than 1%. Well, let's say 1%.
In India too. Yeah.
So it's not going to be a game changer for brands to pause. We are telling them that you need to make sure, and we need to make sure on your behalf, that you will be on a safe environment. So this is I hope, the constructive discussion that we are having with Twitter teams now. It seems that they are changing rapidly, so I will be more safe to answer in 1 month, maybe 2 months, to see about. That is the main point for us is just to make sure that we are safe.
Everything's safe for your brand.
Yeah, I think it was fabulous, first of all, to organize it in a place like this, very unconventional. And Yannick spoke very well. And the key takeaway was, I think you got an insight not just into Vivendi, but also into the future of media and the way he sees it. I think some of the things that came to me today was, I think the dichotomy between subscription and advertising revenue, what's going to happen with Twitter. And I think it was a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, it's great listening to a person like Yannick because, when I was studying at HBS, Harvard, I read studies on Vivendi as a group. They have been 200 years around. It's not easy for any organization to be there for so long. It requires constant change and transformation. And I think they've done brilliantly. And that was the most interesting part, right? That how do you transform yourself into a digital organization, compete with all the startups? One of the specific things I think which he spoke about was that what is their worst nightmare? He prepares himself for that as an organization. It's something very important and was very nice for all of us.
I think the perspective that he brought to the table comes from a very deep and vast international experience. I think his views on globalization, the emergence of media, what's the future of Metaverse, specifically around gaming, etc., is very important for marketers to understand. And I think also the fact that India is going to be a key media market and a key economy in which global media interest is going to converge was very heartening to learn for me.
I think the conversation was really very, very authentic, very genuine kind of answers given by the guest, because I don't think he was kind of sidestepping any of the questions that were being asked. He was kind of really invested in, I think, the replies that he was making. So I think it was a really interesting conversation.
Through the conversation and through which way, how Anuradha had crafted the questions and everything, I think that was very interesting. It gave a lot of insights around the industry. It gave a lot of insights around what is happening and also had a futuristic kind of a feel.
We have unique opportunities to influence human behaviors. Unique opportunities to tell our clients that they need to be working not only to sell product at an affordable price, but they need to be working to contribute to communities, to make sure people feel better if they consume their products. This is what we have called how to make a meaningful difference to brands and businesses.
CNBC-TV18 Marquee Nights. Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.